India's NDMA. Thank you, sir, for your time. I know a lot of people will want to know what's actually happening. We have seen an unveiling of technology here, from robots to laparoscopic cameras. There's been communication that we've been able to establish with the workers inside. What is the latest situation, General Hasnain?
Thank you, Barkha. First of all, it's always a pleasure being with you on your program on a one-on-one like this. This is a very, very challenging situation, not something which I ever expected that I would be speaking about. But having said that, let me say today, lots of hope, much better than what it was 48 hours ago when I spoke to the national media for the first time. And the hope is basically on the fact that although the government of India has established 5 different approaches to get to the tunnel, beyond the collapsed portion of the tunnel, the collapsed portion of the tunnel is 200 meters from the opening which you are seeing on this photograph. 200 meters. And beyond that, the debris which is lying there is approximately 62 to 65 meters, depending on the pattern in which the debris is lying on the other side. So that's the amount of distance. What you need to cover here is to bore through this 62 to 65 meters to create an access through it. The first thing is that, of course, the boring machine has been removed, and what is being used is an auger. An auger is nothing but a metallic drill which is used here to create a reasonably large hole through which a 900 millimeter pipeline, steel pipeline, is being inducted, is being put across. Now, the thing is, each of these segments of the pipeline are 6 meters in length. Each of those segments have to be welded with each other, which means first they have to be pushed through the hole which has been created by the auger, and then they have to be welded to ensure stability and to ensure that there is no debris fall taking place on top of the pipeline itself. So that is the challenge. Now, this is Himalayan geology. Unpredictable. Not much is known. I mean, not so much is known. We've got many institutes of geology here. We've got the Wadia Institute of Geology in Dehradun, experts everywhere. But there's a degree of unpredictability in this. I count these kind of operations very much almost similar to counter-terrorist operations anywhere. There's a degree of unpredictability. So every time there is a promise by someone that we are going to break through and give you good news in 2 hours, I am always skeptical. And I always like to tell people that, look here, let's not lay down timelines. There are challenges which are ahead of us. Let's just say this much. We are fortunate that in the last 48 hours, we have managed to establish a 6-inch pipeline through which we have got logistics flowing inside, cooked food, medicines, clothes, everything that you need, including a line which has been put, and there is line communication. The important thing is that the workers have never been without power and without light in all these days, because the conduit did not break. The conduit through which the power cable was there did not break. And the pipeline, which was a 4-inch pipeline, also remained intact, through which communication remained intact with the workers, a crude form of communication. So this is an important aspect, that information about the workers being there, all 41 being safe, was always available to us. What the government was doing, what the agencies were doing, were putting their act together to have different options. 4 other different options, which I'm not describing for you at the moment, have been put across, and equipment for that has been brought. But a lot of preparatory work has been done also for that. The 1150, 1200 meters, 2 roads have been constructed above the tunnel where these drilling machines, boring machines will be taken, and from where a top-down kind of an approach will be adopted. But all this is part of redundancy. That is, if we do not succeed here, then those methodologies will be used. This is the fastest way. It is 4 to 5 meters per hour that you can drill with the help of the auger. But that is theoretical.
But explain that. Explain why you have to drill at that pace, because you're in the mountains. You're in the Himalayas.
Yeah, I'll tell you that. First of all, you got a rock. You got rock inside. You got a geological setup of the soil there. So when you're using the power of the robo, first of all, you can't put too much power into the auger. simply because it gets heated up, number one, and it leads to more vibrations and could lead to more debris fall. So there has to be an optimum kind of a speed at which you will go. 4 to 5 meters an hour is considered to be good. But that is again theoretical. Because if you come across an obstacle like they came across last night, which is the girders which have fallen from the collapsed roof, there is cement blocks, there are concrete blocks which have fallen. You can see some of them here.
Yeah.
You have to bore a hole through them. That means you have to cut across them. So if you've got a girder, you then got to send people inside physically with oxyacetylene torches, 1.5 hours capability of an oxygen cylinder, but actually melt the iron inside and take it out. That is a very cumbersome process and not an easy thing at all. So it's been happening yesterday and they've succeeded in doing it. And that's how the drilling once again started today. But as we proceeded, once again, there was a bit of an obstacle, and which is what I have been telling the media all along, that in this remaining 20-25 meters that you have, you may come across 2, 3, or 4 more such obstacles. So you should be prepared for that, because they may take 4 to 6 to 10 hours, each of them, to go across them. Which means you can't say that tomorrow morning you are going to celebrate. You will celebrate eventually. I am absolutely hopeful we will celebrate. The whole nation is coming together on this. But to lay a timeline and say we will celebrate tomorrow or day after, maybe is slightly incorrect. And the last word on this, laying down timelines creates unnecessary expectations from the public. It puts a lot of pressure on the people who are doing this work. Remember, the people who are stuck inside, 41 of them are at risk. We do not want to put the people who are the rescuers at an equal risk.
Okay, General Hasnain, this obviously all requires military precision, and we'll talk about that in a moment. What I want to do is to play 2 short clips about things you've spoken about. This pipe that you spoke about and essentials being sent through this pipe, it sounds like a sort of marvel of technology and quick thinking. And I just want to play first a little bit about this pipe and how essentials are being sent through this pipe. Let's take a look.
उधर पाइप पाइप जो इधर अंदर घुसाने का अच्छा अंदर घुसा के पाइप हाँ हाँ मिल सके वो कहाँ के लिए कर रहे हैं खाना खाना जा रहा अंदर डाल दिया खाना अब पैक हो गया अब हवा जाएगी हाँ हवा चल रहा है उधर पाइप पाइप जो
So, General Hasnain, if I can come out of this, please.
Yes, Barkha, I can hear you.
I play those pictures. Can we play those pictures, please? And I want you to talk a little bit about what we're seeing there. What we could see in those pictures was food being sent through that little narrow pipe. It's extraordinary. And I just want to play them. Can we play these as General Saab talks about them? General Hasnain, go ahead.
Okay, let me just explain. Barkha, we were singularly fortunate that when the collapse took place, the conduit of the power cable did not break. And the 4-inch pipeline, which was used for bringing in compressed air to run the equipment inside. You remember that most of these drills are pneumatic drills, and they use compressed air. So this is a pipeline for that. That also did not collapse. So the first lifeline we had was the 4-inch pipeline, which was, now what is the important thing here is that it is compressed air which is pushing this thing out. We were putting out items into this, not very heavy, not very big, not very bulky, just
so what is going through this pipe right now in the pictures we see?
This is the larger pipeline. This is the 6-inch pipeline, which was constructed and completed day before yesterday morning, I think. Now, in this, what is happening is cooked food, even including medicines, etc., are being loaded inside it. And the power to push this is being used the power of the compressor. The same compressors which are used for creating the power for pneumatic drills inside. It's the same thing. Okay, so this power is being used to push this across. All this while, these the 4-inch pipeline, not the 6, the 4-inch pipeline was also used for communication through, the
Yes.
echo and the reverberation method.
Yes.
Crude method. We have done it when we were kids. If you remember, speaking through
Yeah,
pipes
like blowing through a pipe
Absolutely.
and hearing at the other
Absolutely.
end.
Megaphones,
Yes.
using megaphones and things like that. Improvisation, jugaad at its best. Indian jugaad at its best, you can say.
Yeah. Extraordinary. And I want to actually play that clip of communication, the communication that you spoke about, how that communication has been established using jugaad, using rudimentary, sort of literally banai hui choti si pipe. Let's take a look.
जरूरत हो तो बताइएगा। हाँ बोलिए। क्या बोल रहे थे? हाँ।
So, General Hasnain, let me bring you there, right? He's saying he's talking to someone. He's saying, "Kya bol rahe the?" What is he using? That same narrow pipe?
That same narrow pipe was being used in this particular case because there was also evidently some kind of a signal which was present inside there, and that was being exploited in the beginning. But subsequently, since day before yesterday evening, or rather early yesterday morning, they managed to, I think, induct a line through it, and they've now got a reasonably robust line communication in which they are speaking to each other directly. Otherwise, they were depending on
a line of what? A line of what kind?
Line means a cable. It's a cable which is going through. Right?
So, like the army,
conveying.
like the signals would use in the army.
Absolutely. In fact, you'll be surprised that I have a signals officer as my advisor in the NDMA, and we were working on this together to say, how can we help them? Can we improvise the means? By that time, they had already done the work.
Extraordinary, as you said, Indian jugaad at its best. What are the challenges the workers are facing inside?
Right. And this is a correction of perception which I want to do, and I'm very glad you asked me this question. The perception in the public seems to be that these 41 workers are in a mine, and that they're in a shaft, or that they're in a what would be called in Hindi as a kotri, very limited space, etc. That is incorrect. There is light inside, and you can see there is light inside because the power cable did not get cut. And secondly, there's an open space of 2 kilometers behind them. That is the remaining balanced portion of the tunnel.
So they're not suffocated in a dark.
No, they're not constricted. There's no lack of oxygen. Things like that are not there. It's the question of isolation.